Alright, so I wanted to also show another option, another way that we could have done this roof. It might have been the desire of the client to have this entire right wall a 12-foot plate, like this. Maybe this entire wall was living areas and master bedrooms and so forth, and they wanted the whole thing high. Well, then we wouldn't have this wall at all. So I want to, before I erase that, I'll copy it over here. I want to show you how that sort of roof could be done as well. So we get rid of this. This whole thing becomes 12 feet. And so if we know that this is a 10-foot and this appears a 10-foot and this is a 12-foot, well, that's a problem because we have two different plates, and you can't have a hip falling on two different plates like that. It doesn't work. So what we have to do is actually just erase some of this stuff that we've got going on here, almost as if we wanted to start over. Move our arrows over here. Yeah, we can do this one, we can do this one. This right here would go away because that was the roof that separated the 10 and the 12. So what do we do about this corner? Well, this is where we are going to be creating a rather odd little corner of the roof, and sometimes they call this a rake tip, like as in, I'll spell it for you, a rake hip, because you're going to have a hip that turns into a rake. And the way we do this is the side that's the higher one, we're just going to move the rake up the same way that we did this formula. We need the rise, we need this is a fascia board of a 10-foot plate, and this is a fascia board of a 12-foot plate. So we need to raise this one up a certain distance. In order to do that, hold on, my computer's thinking, we have to know the formula. So in this case, we want to raise it a certain amount, which is 2 feet, and the slope, again, moving this direction, is a 6 and 12. So that means we have to move this rake, right here, excuse me, this hip, 48 inches. Now watch this. If we go 48, we get this strange looking thing here. Well, I'll show you in a little bit what that looks like in reality. And then we just follow along the same way that we had before. So we have a ridge that is not centered on this room in the back anymore, but that's to be expected because this is a 10-foot plate and the right one is a 12-foot plate. This comes to here. Not sure what's going to happen over here. Let's work on the front. This time, since we don't have this roof over here to get in the way, we just come along and now we have a ridge up top here. I think this is going to intersect first, and then we'll have this come up to here, and then we mirror this, and look at that, it lines up perfect, well, almost perfectly. Said that too soon, didn't I? I'm going to fill it and move. And these little errors of this magnitude are always due to rounding. Just get it right on there. Alright, so what we end up with here is a fascia on the face of this fascia board, and then right here we have a rake, and then of course this is the hip, and then on this side again we have a fascia board. So I wanted to, well, let you look at that for a second, make sure you understand what we did. That's just a completely different way of doing the roof, and in many cases might be preferable to this way, which ends up with two separate roofs and, by the way, a dead valley in the middle. I'm going to show you what it looks like in SketchUp, this sort of a detail. This is a little model I created. This is the front. This is the part of the house with the 10-foot ceiling, and this is the part with the 12-foot ceiling. And when you come around here, you can see in the back is this rake hip. So we've got the fascia, and then a rake, and then fascia again. So you can kind of get an idea of what that looks like. From the back here, it looks totally normal. Wouldn't think anything odd of it. When you get over here, you have a little raised area that continues around on the 12-foot plate until it comes and kills. If we were to measure from this point to this point, it would be exactly 4 feet, because again we went up 2 and back 4. Now, what I'd like to do is go from above and show you what that looks like, what the roof looks like. In fact, we look at that, and then we look at AutoCAD. You see how they look exactly the same, and that's the way it should be. That is the correct application. Again, there's the SketchUp version, and there's the AutoCAD version. They are identical. So keep in mind, when you have to resolve a high plate and a low plate, you always have this hip rake option, a rake hip option. It's not the prettiest roof in the world, but it gets the job done, and oftentimes this ends up being at the back of the house and nobody really cares. So anyway, just wanted to show you that option as well. Hope that was helpful.